Some shows are built for escape, glossy fantasy, perfect lives, happy endings, but adulting is not that show. Adulting is raw, it's loud, it's intimate, it's chaotic, and most of all, it's real. Set in the heart of Johannesburg, the Showmax original pulls us deep into the lives of four men, Bonga, Mpho, Eric, aka Tiki, and Vuyani, as they navigate friendship, fatherhood, love, loss, and the harsh truths of becoming a man in modern South Africa. Over 3 seasons, we've watched these characters party hard, fall in love, make mistakes, heal, and fall apart again. But underneath the flashy clothes and wild nights lies something more powerful. A story about brotherhood, emotional growth, and what it really means to man up when the world is watching. In this video, we're unpacking everything that makes adulting stand out. The good, the bad, and the unforgettable. From strong male friendships to cultural relevance to its flaws in pacing and representation, we're going deep. So whether you're a die-hard fan, a first-time viewer, or just here to see why everybody's talking about this show, let me tell you why this show is truly worth your attention. Let's get into it. Now, when we look at the positive aspects of the show, the first thing we're going to look at is the strong male friendship, the real brotherhood. The men in adulting talk about their problems, even when it's hard. They share fears, disappointments, and heartbreaks. They aren't just surface level chats. They open up about grief, loneliness, failure, and shame. Example is when Bonga loses his father. The guys don't just give him the man up advice. They listen, they support, and they give him the space to grieve. In a culture where men don't cry, this is revolutionary for TV because he is not emasculated when he does. And that shows us that this friend group have an open emotional communication. They show support without judgment. Whether it's Bonga cheating or Eric being violent, the group never completely abandons each other. They hold each other accountable, but never cancel each other. They'll fight, and often they do, but the brotherhood always brings them back together. Mpho confesses to Bonga that he had it all, the wife, the kids, the family unit, and it's all messed up now. Vuyani praying with Bonga and Mpho sleeping on Eric's couch are subtle moments to show us their bond is deeper than drama. They have a found family. The men are not just friends, they are a chosen family, especially since most of them have complicated relationships with their actual families. Mpho struggles with parental expectation. Eric had a troubled fatherless upbringing. In each other, they find belonging, protection, and a shared responsibility. They have conflict and resolution. Their friendship isn't perfect, and that's what makes it real. They'll fight over women, disrespect boundaries, say hurtful things when they're angry or drunk. But crucially, adulting shows us how they repair their damage through apologies, late-night conversation, shared meals, or even silence. That repair is rarely shown in TV, but is a powerful aspect of real brotherhood. They show vulnerability as strength. They actively dismantle toxic masculinity by showing men as being emotionally naked in front of each other. Whether it's Eric breaking down in tears, Bonga admitting that he's scared of commitment, the group allows spaces for these feelings instead of mocking or dismantling them. They show accountability without ego. Eric's past violence and hustle lifestyle could have been glorified, but the group often calls him out. When Mpho cheats or lies, the others don't let it slide. The show doesn't shy away from having difficult conversation between friends. It shows how real friends are mirrors, even when it hurts. Now, why does this matter on TV? Too often, media shows male friendships as competitive, emotionless, centered around partying or hustling. Adulting flips the script. It shows us that men loving each other fully and platonically is powerful, that brotherhood can be healing, and that friendship is not just a side plot, but the central love story of adulthood. The show also has relatable and culturally grounded themes like financial pressure and black tax. The show doesn't shy away from economic struggles of young black professionals in South Africa. Mpho juggles lifestyle pressure and family obligations, especially with his divorce and maintenance battles. Eric, coming from a hustler's past, struggles to adapt to a 9-to-5 job and supporting his daughter Ncumisa, resulting in him resorting to crime. These moments reflect black task, lifestyle inflation, debts, and unspoken burdens of being the one who made it. It shows tension between youth and adulthood. The show lives in the in-between. You're still young enough to want to party and hook up, but society expects you to be a father, husband, and breadwinner. Adulting captures this tension with raw honesty, especially through Mpho, who clings to fun, and Vuyani, who resents the weight of responsibility. That duality, wanting freedom but needing structure, makes the title of the show deeply symbolic. The show dives into the romantic relationships and it's messy. Ghosting, cheating, side chicks, sneaky links, transactional relationship, toxic exes, it's all there. The lines between lust and love, companionships and convenience are blurred constantly. These aren't just romantic subplots. They are the honest exploration of how lonely and confusing dating in your 30s can be, especially in a fast-paced city like Joburg. It also talks about the mental health, trauma, and coping mechanisms. While not always overt, the show constantly hits at the unspoken traumas and suppressed emotions. Mpho masks his pains with sex and partying. Eric buries his emotions under anger and control. Bonga shuts down emotionally when overwhelmed. These patterns reflect how most black men often cope, silently, destructively, and through distractions. And adulting highlights the need for healing and vulnerability. Another aspect that I found positive on the show is that it has authentic dialogue and language. Adulting's use of language is one of the most powerful storytelling tools. It's not just for realism, but it's for cultural authenticity, emotional expression, and social context. Few shows nail the South African lingo like Adulting. It fluently blends isiZulu, Tswana, English, township slangs, and idioms. It sounds like how real people talk, real people banter, stutter, switches. The rawness is part of its charm. Language in Adulting isn't just a tool, it is a character on its own. It reflects where these men come from, how they move through the world, and how they connect to each other. It adds authenticity, making every scene feel lived in. Cultural texture, honoring South African speech patterns and township rhythm. Emotional resonance, allowing vulnerability, conflict, and joy to come out through the most honest way possible. It has high production value, cinematography that elevates the story. The show treats Johannesburg as more than just a setting. It is a living, breathing character. The way it's filmed brings out the contrast of the city. Glizzy rooftop bars versus humble township streets, corporate office spaces versus intimate bedroom scenes. The lighting is intentional, moody, and dark when emotions are tense, soft and warm during moments of healing and connection. Cinematographers use tight close-ups to capture vulnerability in characters' faces, and the wide landscape shots to show the isolation or the brotherhood. It has a wardrobe and styling that communicates character. Outfits that match the character's energy. Mpho is flashy, trendy, and confident. Eric wears bold colors and chains, showcasing street power and edge. Bonga sticks to minimal, smart casual fists and understated masculinity. Vuyani is clean, conservative, and sometimes traditional. The show proves that South African TV doesn't need to imitate American or British aesthetic to be world-class. Its cultural specificity, technically polished, and visual storytelling can come together to create a show that is cinematic, stylish, and deeply rooted in the lived experience of its characters. Now let's talk about the show's shortcomings, the areas where it missed its mark or has room for improvement. The first thing is the uneven pacing, rushed storylines or overstretched subplots. Some major emotional arcs are rushed, while less meaningful scenes like extended sex scenes or repetitive arguments are stretched unnecessarily. In season 3, Tiki Tiki's death is a huge moment, but it's resolved quickly. The grief scenes feel condensed, and the show moves on too fast. On the other hand, their hookup scenes or party scenes often drag on for several minutes, offering little new insight. The show gives us more screen time to vibe than meaning. Another issue is that emotional highs don't always land. Pacing issue means that when something huge happens, like a breakup or a betrayal or a death, there isn't always enough build-up or aftermath for it to feel earned. Example, in season 2, Bonga struggles with commitment, escalates and resolves too quickly. 1 minute he's emotionally unavailable, the next he's vulnerable, and then it's never spoken of again. Because of these sudden shifts, emotional payoffs sometimes fall flat, and viewers don't get the catharsis or depth that could have made the scene more powerful. The show has disjointed transitions. The show sometimes jumps between scenes too quickly or with jarring tonal shifts. A deep emotional conversation can be followed immediately by a wild party scene or a comedic sex encounter with no breather or emotional transition. This disrupts the viewer's emotional engagement, making it harder to stay immersed in serious moments. Now, the biggest issue or problem I have with the show are the redundant sex scenes. They are repetitive without progress. Too many sex scenes in adulting, especially with characters like Mpo, begin to feel repetitive and formulaic. They follow the same pattern. Seduction and flirtation leads to an explicit scene that leads to an immediate emotional detachment or conflict. These scenes often don't push the story forward or reveal anything new about the characters or develop emotional depth. Once you've seen 3 or 4 of these escapades, they begin to blur together, reducing the emotional impact of the action and the tensions in their relationships. And that diminishes the emotional weight. Overuse of sex scenes reduces their impact when it really matters. The oversaturation of sexual content flattens the emotional peaks, making it harder for audience to distinguish between genuine connection and casual sex, like it's when with a loving partner or with a random hookup with a girl. Sex is used for shock or aesthetic. Sometimes sex scenes seem designed to arouse rather than to serve a purpose. Explicit nudity and moaning, long screen time with no dialogue, music playing while we watch characters in slow motion. These moments can pull viewers out of the emotional tone of the episode and feel disconnected from the core themes of the show. And the issue that people were having online is that there's poor female character development. Women on the show are often introduced to sex, and their emotional arcs are either sidelined or cut short afterwards. They are used to cause drama or jealousy between the men, or they vanish after a hookup with no character depth or resolution. This makes female characters feel like tools for male development rather than full people. Women are dehumanized on the show. The show centers men, but women deserve better. Many female characters feel like one note. There's little focus on their ambitions, identities, or trauma. Now listen, sex is a valid and important part of adult life, and adulting is right to include it. But when it's overused or underdeveloped, it dulls the emotional edge of the show. Less could truly be more. With greater focus and restraint, the show could shift from just being about sex to being sensual, raw, and meaningful. Now, as I conclude, adulting isn't just a show. It is a mirror held up to modern South African manhood. Over 3 seasons, it has offered us more than just flashy apartments and chaotic nightclubs. It has offered us raw portrayals of friendship, fatherhood, failure, and forgiveness. At its core, adulting succeeds because it dares to be unapologetically local and emotionally real. It shows us that men can cry, grief is loud and quiet, love is messy, and then being a real man isn't about dominance, but vulnerability, accountability, and growth. The product is sleek, and the acting is grounded, all adding up to a world that feels familiar, yet cinematic. The strong male friendships, cultural relevance, and emotional arcs, especially Eric's redemption, are some of the best storytelling we've seen on local television. but it's not without its flaws. The show struggles with uneven pacing, overused sex scene, and underdeveloped female characters. Sometimes it leans too hard into drama and not enough into the emotional reflection. With tighter writing and better balance, Adulting could move from being great entertainment to a defining generational series. Still, what Adulting represents cannot be overstated. It is a love letter to brotherhood, black identity, and the complicated journey of becoming a man in today's South Africa. It doesn't always get it right, but when it does, it hits where it matters the most, the heart. Drop your thoughts in the comment below. What did Adulting get right? Where did it fall short? Hit the like button if you enjoyed the breakdown, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into stories that are shaping our world and reflecting our lives. Until next time.